I always thought the worst way to find out your wife cheated was catching her in the act. You know, walking in, seeing the clothes on the floor, the whole dramatic explosion. Turns out, there's something worse, finding out after the fact, when the whole world already knows, except you. I should start from the beginning. My name's Ryan. Just an average guy from Ohio who somehow lucked into marrying a woman way out of my league. Melissa, Mel, as I called her, was gorgeous, funny, and, at least I thought, completely in love with me. We had been together for 6 years, married for 4. She worked in PR, which meant she rubbed elbows with celebrities from time to time. I never thought much of it. She'd come home from work events with wild stories about drunken actors, diva pop stars, and ego-fueled meltdowns. She'd roll her eyes and say, "God, these people are exhausting." I believed her. That was my first mistake. See, Mel had been traveling a lot for work over the past few months. LA, New York, sometimes even Europe. Nothing unusual for her line of work, but I started noticing something off. She was different when she came home. Distant. Distracted. The way she looked at me changed, like I was part of a life she wasn't sure she wanted anymore. And then came the night. The night I realized I wasn't just paranoid. It started like any other evening. I was sitting on the couch, beer in hand, flipping through channels. Melissa was in the shower. My phone buzzed, a group text from some buddies. "Dude, holy shit," one of them wrote. "Isn't this your wife?" I frowned and clicked the link. It was TMZ. A grainy photo. A dimly lit bar. And there she was, Melissa. Her lips locked with someone else's. And not just anyone. A goddamn A-list Hollywood actor. My stomach dropped. I scrolled through the article, my heart hammering. It had all the details, when it happened, where it happened, and the worst part? The way the article casually mentioned that this had been going on for several months. My hands were shaking. I looked toward the hallway, where the sound of the shower still ran. She had no idea I knew. I had 2 choices. Confront her the second she stepped out. Play it cool and gather more information. I don't know why, but I chose option 2. I needed to know everything before I blew this up. And trust me, it was about to explode. I sat there, my phone burning in my hand, staring at the picture of my wife kissing another man. Not just any man, a Hollywood megastar. A guy whose face was on movie posters, whose name was on the lips of millions. And my wife? His secret fling. The shower was still running. I had minutes, maybe seconds, before she walked out. I took a deep breath, forced my face into something that didn't look like a mix of heartbreak and rage, and locked my phone. Play it cool. Gather information. Don't let her know what you know. The bathroom door swung open, steam rolling into the hallway. Melissa stepped out, towel wrapped around her body, rubbing another through her hair. She looked at me, her expression unreadable. "You okay?" she asked. I swallowed hard. "Yeah. Just tired." She gave a small nod, like she didn't quite believe me, then walked into our bedroom. I followed, keeping my face neutral. I had spent years reading this woman, learning her moods, her expressions. Now I was studying her like a suspect under interrogation. She moved like someone carrying a secret. The way she avoided my eyes. The way she grabbed her phone and flipped it over when she set it down. Guilt was all over her. I wanted to ask right then and there. I wanted to throw my phone at her, scream, "Explain this!" But I held back. Instead, I played the role of the clueless husband. "Hey," I said, forcing my voice to stay even. "How was the trip?" She hesitated. Just for a second. "Good. Same old stuff. Long meetings, late nights." I nodded, pretending to buy it. "Bet you're exhausted." "You have no idea." She sighed, crawling into bed, turning away from me. I laid down beside her, my mind racing. Melissa wasn't just cheating, she was cheating with someone so famous that the entire world knew before I did. I needed to find out how deep this went. Tomorrow, I was going to do some digging. And Melissa had no idea what was coming. I barely slept that night. Melissa was right next to me, her breathing steady, completely oblivious to the war raging in my head. I stared at the ceiling, my mind running in circles. How long had this been going on? Was it just physical, or was there more? Did she ever love me, or had I been a placeholder until something better came along? By the time the sun came up, I had made a decision. I wasn't going to confront her until I had everything. Facts, proof, maybe even a backup plan. I wasn't going into this blind. So, I did what any man in my situation would do. I went full detective mode. Melissa left early for work, acting completely normal, like she hadn't made out with a Hollywood star in some dimly lit LA bar. As soon as she was gone, I grabbed her laptop. Password protected. I wasn't surprised. Melissa was smart. Her phone was even trickier. I knew better than to try guessing her passcode while she was home, but I had a plan for that too. Instead, I turned to the internet. I pulled up the TMZ article again, scanning every word for something I might have missed. Sources say the two have been spotted together multiple times over the past few months, though they've kept their meetings private. The Hollywood star was seen leaving a luxury hotel in New York just minutes after Melissa F., a high-profile PR executive, exited the same building. Months. This wasn't a one-time drunken mistake. This was an affair. I kept digging. More articles, more rumors. Melissa's name wasn't always mentioned directly, but there were enough breadcrumbs to piece together a timeline. LA trips. New York. That weekend in Paris where she had a conference. I even found a picture of them in the background of some paparazzi shot, nothing obvious. But now that I knew what to look for, it was clear as day. I felt sick. It wasn't just some random hookup. It was planned. Hidden. Ongoing. Melissa had built an entirely separate life behind my back. And now? Now it was my turn to play the game. I grabbed my phone and sent a text. Me, hey man, I need a favor. I was about to get answers. And Melissa? She had no idea that her perfect little secret was about to crumble. I had one person I could trust with this, my best friend, Jake. Jake and I had been friends since college. The kind of guy who would bail you out of jail, but also call you an idiot for getting arrested in the first place. He'd always had my back, no matter what. So when I sent that text, he replied almost immediately. Jake, what's up? Everything good? Me, not really. Need to talk. In person. Jake, I'll be at the Rusty Anchor in 20. Our usual bar. Perfect. I got there first, ordered a whiskey, and stared at my phone. I had checked Melissa's Instagram before leaving, nothing suspicious, just her usual work-related posts. But now, I was looking at everything differently. How many of these business trips were actually cover-ups? Jake walked in, took one look at my face, and whistled. Damn. Who died? I let out a bitter laugh. Just my marriage, apparently. His eyes narrowed. What happened? I pulled out my phone and handed it to him. Check this out. Jake scrolled through the TMZ article, his expression going from confused to shocked to pissed. Dude, he said slowly, setting my phone down. What the actual F*******? I took a long sip of whiskey. Yeah. This is real? Melissa? I nodded. Months. I just found out last night. Thanks to a damn tabloid. Jake leaned back in his chair, shaking his head. Man, I don't even know what to say. That's brutal. I exhaled, staring at my drink. I need to know everything before I confront her. I need proof. Solid proof. And I think I know how to get it. Jake crossed his arms. I'm listening. I glanced around, lowering my voice. Her phone. It's the only thing I don't have access to. But I know she's been texting him. Jake's eyes widened. You're gonna go through her phone? I nodded. But I need to be smart about it. I need a way in. Jake let out a low whistle. You sure you want to do this, man? I met his gaze. She's been lying to me for months. She built an entire affair behind my back. The least I can do is find out the truth before I decide what to do next. Jake sighed, then gave me a slow nod. All right. Let's get you that proof. And just like that, the hunt was on. I left the bar that night with one mission: get into Melissa's phone. Easier said than done. Melissa was careful. Too careful. She had never been the type to leave her phone lying around, and ever since she started acting distant, she had become even more protective of it. But I had one advantage: I knew her habits. She always set her phone on the nightstand before bed. And more importantly, she used Face ID to unlock it. I had a plan. A risky one, but at this point, what did I have to lose? That night I acted normal. I didn't push, didn't give her any reason to be suspicious. I made small talk over dinner, asked about her day, even laughed at one of her stupid work stories. All the while, I was watching her, waiting for my moment. Finally, around midnight, Melissa dozed off. Her phone was on the nightstand, face up. Perfect. I took a deep breath. Here goes nothing. Carefully, I reached for the phone, angling it toward her sleeping face. The screen lit up. Face ID scanned. Unlocked. My heart pounded as I swiped into her messages. And that's when I saw it, a text thread with a name I immediately recognized. Hollywood star. My stomach twisted, but I forced myself to keep going. I opened the thread, scrolling back as far as I could. And what I saw? It was so much worse than I ever imagined. Months of texts. Late-night messages. Flirty, intimate conversations. Explicit ones. She had sent him photos. He had sent some back. And the worst part? She talked about me. Lying in bed next to him right now. If only he knew where I really was last weekend. He keeps asking questions. I think he's starting to suspect something. I wish I could just be with you. No more sneaking around. I felt like I was going to be sick. My hands were shaking as I took screenshots and sent them to myself. I needed this. I needed proof. I had it now. The truth. The ugly, disgusting truth. And Melissa? She had no idea what was coming. Tomorrow, I was going to end this. I barely slept. Not that I even tried. How could I? After reading those texts, after seeing what she had been saying about me, about our marriage, I felt like a complete fool. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, listening to the soft sound of Melissa breathing beside me, like she wasn't a liar, like she hadn't spent months sneaking around with someone whose face was on damn movie posters. I wanted to wake her up right then and there. I wanted to shove the phone in her face and scream, "How could you do this to me?" But I didn't. Because now, this wasn't just about emotions. This was about strategy. The old me, the guy I was before last night, would have confronted her with nothing but anger. But that guy was gone. The guy lying in that bed now? He was playing chess. Melissa had spent months keeping secrets from me. Now it was my turn to keep one from her. At sunrise, I got out of bed, grabbed my phone, and texted Jake. Me, I have proof. It's worse than I thought. Jake, Jesus. You good? Me, I will be. But I need your help. Jake, name it. I already knew my next move. I just needed to make sure I played it perfectly. Melissa was going to get exactly what she deserved. And when I was done, she wouldn't just lose me, she'd lose everything. The moment I had proof, my entire mindset shifted. I wasn't heartbroken anymore. I was focused. I wasn't just going to confront Melissa. I was going to destroy the life she built on lies. Jake and I met up that morning at a diner. I showed him the texts, the pictures, all of it. He exhaled sharply. Damn, man. This isn't just some fling. She's deep in this. I nodded. She even told him she wished she could just be with him. No more sneaking around. Jake's jaw clenched. So let's help her with that. I smirked. Exactly. Melissa was going to lose me. But that wasn't enough. I wanted her to lose him, too. And I had a plan. Step 1. Make sure the world knows before she can spin the story. I had screenshots of her texts, juicy ones. Things that would ruin her perfect little PR image. I sent them to a private email, then forwarded them to one particular gossip blog under an anonymous tip. Step 2. Confront her in a way she'd never see coming. Melissa was about to get home from work, thinking she was walking into her normal life. Instead, she was about to walk into her worst nightmare. I went home, poured myself a drink, and waited. And when she walked through the door, I was ready. She smiled at me like nothing was wrong. Like she wasn't a lying, cheating snake. "Hey, babe," she said, setting her purse down. "How was your day?" I took a slow sip of my whiskey, then set the glass down. I met her eyes and said, "I know." Her smile faltered. "Know what?" I leaned forward. "That you've been ing a movie star behind my back." The color drained from her face. "Game. Set. Match." Melissa froze. For the first time in years, she looked completely speechless. She blinked at me, her mouth opening slightly, like her brain was trying to process what had just happened. What are you talking about?" I let out a slow breath and shook my head. Don't insult me by pretending. I know. About him. About the months of sneaking around. About the texts." Her eyes darted to her phone on the counter, like she was calculating how screwed she was. I picked up my own phone, tapped the screen, and turned it toward her. Screenshots. Her own words staring back at her. Her face went pale. I leaned back, watching her. "So, Melissa, wanna try again?" For a second, I thought she might actually come clean. Maybe break down, apologize, beg. But instead, she did something that almost made me laugh. She sighed, like this was an inconvenience to her. "Ryan," she said slowly, rubbing her temples. "It's not what you think." I actually laughed at that. "Oh, really?" "Because what I think is that my wife has been sleeping with a Hollywood actor and telling him she wants to be with him instead of me." She swallowed hard. I was going to tell you." I tilted my head. "Oh yeah? When exactly? Before or after the tabloids got the story?" Her eyes widened slightly. She knew. She knew the story was already out there. I leaned forward. "Check your phone, Melissa." She hesitated, then grabbed it, her fingers shaking slightly as she unlocked it. A second later, her breath hitched. She clicked something, probably a link to the article. I already knew what it said. "Breaking: Hollywood star's secret affair exposed. Leaked texts reveal months of cheating." I had sent everything to the gossip blogs before she even walked in the door. Melissa's hands covered her mouth. "Oh my God!" I smirked. "Yeah. Sucks when you find out from the news, huh?" She looked up at me, her eyes pleading. "Ryan, we can talk about this." I stood up, grabbed my drink, and downed the rest of it. Then I picked up my keys and walked toward the door. "Nah," I said over my shoulder. "I think I'll let the world do the talking for me." And with that I walked out. Melissa wanted a life in the spotlight? She just got one. I walked out that door and didn't look back. At least, not yet. I got in my car, hands gripping the steering wheel, my heart still hammering in my chest. The adrenaline was wearing off, and in its place, something heavier settled in. This was real. My marriage, my whole life with Melissa, was officially over. I didn't go home. Instead, I drove straight to Jake's place. The second he opened the door, he took one look at me and stepped aside. "Whiskey?" I nodded. "Make it a double." I collapsed onto his couch while he poured our drinks. "How'd it go?" he asked, handing me a glass. I let out a sharp laugh. "Exactly how I wanted it to. She saw the article. She knows the world knows. She tried to talk her way out of it, but I walked out before she could even start." Jake shook his head. "Good. She doesn't deserve an explanation." I took a sip, letting the burn of the whiskey settle in. It's wild, man. You think you know someone. You build a life with them. Then one day, you wake up, check your phone, and realize you were just a side character in their story. Jake sighed. So what now? That was the million-dollar question. I had proof. I had exposed her. But there was still one last thing I had to do, and this the right way. I'm filing for divorce, I said. Tomorrow morning. Jake nodded. Damn right you are. I stared at the ice swirling in my glass. She's gonna try to fix this. I know her. She's gonna cry, she's gonna beg, she's gonna say it was a mistake. Jake smirked. And you're gonna tell her to go F*** herself. I grinned. Something like that. We clinked glasses. Melissa had made her choice. Now, it was time for me to make mine. Tomorrow, I was officially done with her. The next morning, I woke up feeling lighter. I expected to feel wrecked, maybe even regretful, but instead, I felt free. Like a weight had been lifted off my chest. Melissa had spent months lying to me, sneaking around with some Hollywood star, thinking she could have it all. But now, she had nothing. I got up, showered, and drove straight to the lawyer's office. No hesitation. No second thoughts. When I walked in, the receptionist gave me a polite smile. How can we help you today? I smiled back. I'd like to file for divorce. She handed me some paperwork. You're in the right place. Damn right I was. I filled out the forms, signed where I needed to, and just like that, the process had begun. Melissa was officially out of my life. But I wasn't done yet. Before I left, I sent one last text. Me, you don't have to explain. You don't have to beg. It's over. I already filed for divorce. Don't contact me again unless it's through a lawyer. I hit send and turned off my phone. Melissa wanted fame? She got it. She wanted her Hollywood romance? She could have it. I wasn't sticking around to watch it all fall apart. I walked out of that office feeling like a new man. And as I stepped onto the street, breathing in the fresh air, I realized something. This wasn't the end of my story. It was just the beginning.